something has taken place that has taken him outside of who he knows himself to be.
Hello, my name is Russ Milheim. I'm from the Direct. Thank you for talking to me today about Captain America.
Absolutely, my pleasure, man.
It's about to come out, for everyone, or not physically, on digital media. So that's exciting. We can now go watch it again.
Right.
You know, just my first question is, you first debuted as Isaiah Bradley on the Disney Plus series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Coming onto this blockbuster film, though, how different was that experience on like a day-to-day level compared to being on a show?
To tell you the truth, for me, there wasn't that much different. It was kind of more so. Doing Falcon and the Winter Soldier established a really fun foundation for me, and getting the opportunity then to carry it on into the film, it was quite joyful, and it was also continuing to put the puzzle together because there's so much information that I was able to get through Truth, the series of comics. But then there was also the film script and the places in which that either deviated or expanded upon ideas in the comic. Um, those were challenging and they were on the spot and in the moment. So it I felt like it gave me an opportunity to grow the character. The soil has been rich from the beginning with that Truth series.
I would definitely say that Isaiah really is the heart of this film. How do you feel about that statement? And then also, how did it feel to kind of have that responsibility on your shoulders?
To answer the second part first, I actually didn't have that responsibility on my shoulders. I think if we go back to Falcon and the Winter Soldier again, um, when when that first idea was broached about Sam Wilson becoming or being considering Captain America, Isaiah Bradley is burning it in a very deep place um, for feeling that that's an unreality. And in his, subtle attempts to bring Sam to some sort of knowledge about this, he says no self-respecting black man would want to be Captain America. And I think that's a mask for the hurt that he's carried for what now, 120, 122 years, however old he is. Um, and so it's the same juice. It's the same juice and it's just continuing to flow forward. So when I hear um, the heart of the film, I think Sam Wilson is the beating heart of the film. And I think there's a there's a sympathetic beat that comes from Isaiah operating almost in the opposite direction, someone who's been shut out of the world and desperately wants to stay that way. And someone else, Sam Wilson, is Captain America, who takes the challenge on. And to him, it's just continuing the work he's done as a social worker.
Hmm.
So that's my reaction. It's great. I guess I'm older, so that's my perspective.
There's a lot of fun and camaraderie between, you, Sam, and Joaquin, what was it like building that? Did you guys do stuff offset, just to help build that up, or was it all just real natural, happen in a snap of a finger?
Not quite snap of a finger, but it happened naturally because we're working, and
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
everybody comes in with a sense of their own character. But then, of course, what you're looking for is points of entry into the other characters, and certainly that your own personality goes with it. So, as an example, I am a little more low key than the other two gentlemen are. Um, uh, Anthony is free,
Hmm.
and there's something quite infectious about it. He's the type of person who, um, Anthony can say things to people, and they kind of chuckle, or they see or feel something that if you or I said it, they would take offense. He's got a very kind of a playful, lethally truthful affect, and so I really enjoy working with him. And then, I think Danny is just ingenuous. He has natural warmth and charm, and so that's kind of ideal. I sit back.
In the opening, like, 30, 40 minutes of this movie, Isaiah's kind of finally pushed to come out into the open with Sam, have some fun. And this was a struggle with him that was first illustrated in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But the moment he does come out and, have some fun, as it were, he gets brainwashed. Can you just walk me through in kind of your own words, what is going through Isaiah Bradley's head or mind, the moment that brainwashing wears off and he's standing in that plaza?
Again, that's what's going through his mind again, something has taken place that has taken him outside of who he knows himself to be. My image is that when the serum, which is still inside him, was initially put inside him, whatever it was that enabled him to resist succumbing like so many other Black soldiers in that experiment had, was something that involved uh, reworking himself, like somehow steering this serum into a place where it could be stored, and if not contained, at least uh, held at bay. And so uh, that's coursing, I think that's coursing through him all the time. And so I think Isaiah is a master of control. And I think that's um, more powerful in many ways than any of his strength or outburst.
Does he feel, I don't know if this is the right word, but does he feel vindicated at all? Like kind of with his worries that he tries to tell Sam about, and and then all this does happen, and he's like, "Look, I was right."
I think Isaiah's life experience teaches him that there is nothing he can say for certain he knows, especially out of what he has just come out of. What he told Sam, he truly believes, but he also believes that someone needs to be Captain America, and and he survived something that many others might have triumphed in, but they were killed in that experimentation. And so he's representing those individuals in the world, but he's not doing it, with rose-colored glasses by any measure. He knows anything can happen. So when I said again, I mean, Isaiah tried to tell Sam what his life had been like. And he sees that Sam truly lives a different life, a life of agency, a life of where you're the surprise. That's not Isaiah's experience. So he's he doesn't feel vindicated because he's sorry that's the circumstance,
Mhm.
but he does feel like there is something about having survived it once that means you can survive it again.
Yeah. I want to jump back a little bit in the timeline here. As we just talked about, obviously, Isaiah is a homebody. He's kind of locked himself up and doesn't he's not experiencing the outside world too much. But there was this big event that happened in the MCU with Thanos' snap. Half of the world vanishes. In your head, what was Isaiah, doing when that happened?
Well, I think Isaiah was cloistered away almost monastically. He had his little plot of land out in the back. He had plants everywhere. He had his memories locked in a box, which every once in a while he would open up and he would share. He has his faith, both literally and figuratively. And I think he made that place sort of a shrine to her because Isaiah has gone beyond having any kind of particular religious attachment, I believe. I think there's a greater equanimity about the way he sees the potential for everyone to do bad in the world, but also with that, the potential for everyone to do good. And Sam has shown him something. He's still processing it. And even in light of what just happened to him, he's not happy about it. But Sam has shown him something. Sam is flying the course,
Hmm.
and there's a tremendous pride in that, even if it's um, a little begrudging.
Do you think Isaiah's like initial reaction to learning about the snap, like what would that look like? Would he not believe it, or would he just be like, "This is the world we live in"? Like that's not surprising to him?
Well, I think it wouldn't be surprising because it's not the world he was living in.
Yeah.
My imagination says that outside of his occasional run to the Ace Hardware store or the Lowe's Garden store, he's not taking Pilates. He's not out in the world. In fact, he and his grandson are living two separate lives because his grandson is out in the world. And when you open that door in Falcon and the Winter Soldier and you stepped out into that community, you realize that there was a vibrancy that was not inside that house. It was outside in the back with the plants, but inside that house there was something really quiet. It's almost like I suppose, a protective shell, that cone of silence that used to people could drop down in that TV show. That's where Isaiah was, and he was in a cone of silence himself with his grandson.
Where is
Uh,
your grandson? We haven't seen him for a second.
yeah, that boy goes off.
We miss him. We need him back. What,
Yeah, I must have left him with one of his many relatives because I imagine a bundle of cousins that he loves to
that
spend time.
that makes sense. That makes sense to me. I buy it. When you signed on to play Isaiah Bradley in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, was it known at the time that you would be returning for a movie shortly afterward?
No, there were no knowns known at the time. I was delightfully surprised when it came back up. And it's interesting because at the time it came up, obviously, is a very different time from the time we started shooting to the time it recently was released. And a lot has happened. And in some ways, uh, you know, people might think, oh, it was reworked at the end to include some of these elements that are, I guess, more or less controversial. If a Black Captain America isn't controversial enough. But they weren't. This was written and conceived and put together well before um, some of the recent madness. So it makes it feel prescient when all it was all it was doing was telling a story out of the comics.
Well, now that you have returned for a movie, are you contracted for more potential appearances in the future if they so desire you to come back, or is it still just the waiting game, as it were, the first time around?
Well, I think it's exactly as it was the first time around. This is just the second time around. So
Yes,
at
yeah.
least I have the other
Plenty
two to
more to
kind of
come,
rest
I'm
on.
sure. I have to admit that I feel like, this movie felt like the perfect chance for Isaiah Bradley to finally kind of put on a super suit. Have you had discussions with Marvel Studios about what a suit for him in the modern day would look like?
I have a sense of Isaiah Bradley right now as being in flux. And especially after what happened recently, I'm not sure how much he would want to have a super suit on, as much as he admires what Sam Wilson is doing. And, as good as those super suits can look, I mean, you know, Anthony and Danny look pretty sharp.
Yeah.
But But I think right now, yeah, Isaiah wants to, watch some ball games. Probably not go to the stadium for a while. Um, but maybe get a bigger screen TV.
You see, he's locked away in prison for a lot of this movie. But I found myself wishing that I was like, I wish they could get him out there so you could go help, fight Red Hulk and whatnot. How do you feel like Bradley would actually, so if he did go, okay, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna go out there. How would he fare against Red Hulk? And was there ever a world that we might have seen a version of that fight, but then things just got reshuffled and then we got the final product?
Um, uh, no, I would say there was that world you just discussed. No, that was never talked about. How would he fare? If you're talking about Isaiah right now, I think he would tend to go more in the direction of being away from it, of not, I'm not certain how much he wants to let that free. I
Hmm.
think he's worked very hard over a number of years. First, to fight just the simple rage, then to fight this serum, which he never knows how or when it's going to pop up. I mean, and certainly in the comics, it led one way. In the way we presented it, both in Falcon and the Winter series and in the film, he's not he's not mentally debilitated in a way we would know it. But I still wonder what else goes on. I think the idea of the brainwashing was not a shock. It was a resignation to the fact that there is a degree to which this man cannot trust that he has complete agency all the time in his life.
You should sit down with Bucky. They should have a really good conversation because they've been in the same spot.
I would love to have I have a double session with the same therapist
Yeah.
because
I think it would be very helpful for both of you guys to
she
really
could
get
help
through that
us. I
trauma.
know. No, I know that.
Yeah, I know. There's been a lot of talk about chairs recently. I don't know if you saw the Avengers marketing blitz that had a live stream announcement of at least the partial cast for Avengers Doomsday, where they revealed all the different chairs of everyone who's going to be in the movie. Did you see that?
Oh, okay. No.
It was a whole thing. It was like a 5 hour live stream, and it was just a camera slowly panning down a line of like film chairs with
Oh,
their
cool.
names on the back. And so I wanted to ask you, obviously, so your name wasn't on that list, but in a world where Isaiah, you get to come back for a big team up like an Avengers film, what would that look like? Like, how would he fit into a dynamic like that?
I really couldn't say. I mean, I really couldn't say. I mean, um, I suppose on some sort of consultancy basis.
He's like, I don't want
You
to fight.
know,
I don't want to put on a suit. I will help you guys out vocally.
you, does anyone need donuts?
Yeah. Well, hypothetically, right? Like, I think it's pretty like you're gonna come back at some point in some project, some way. But hypothetically, what do you personally want to explore next with, Isaiah Bradley? What's the next step that you want to help flesh out with your character?
Well, I do love the idea of being somebody's grandfather. I think that especially for Isaiah, what that represents is a chance, an opportunity, and I think that's why um, they are they are brought together. And there may be a way in which he can help that fulfills his desire to help all along, no matter what happened to him. And it does justice to the love that created um, his daughter and then his grandson.
I know there's a lot of people that are like, can't they want to see like a prequel kind of Disney Plus series, so we actually kind of see what happened to you back in the day, and that could be a pretty fun exploration.
based on what they wrote in truth. Um, yeah, fun is not that first
That's
word
true.
that
Yeah, I don't know.
would come to mind for me.
It would be interesting to
But
see.
completely interesting, fascinating, and in some ways, um, it's always wonderful to have something established that then you get to go back and write backwards from that. Um, so that would be interesting to play. But right now, I would say at this moment, uh, the my joy has been playing Isaiah in these last two iterations, and yeah, I'm pretty pleased. I'm good with whatever comes next.
Now, I wanted to ask about the reaction to this movie from like some critics and some fans was a little divisive. Did that surprise you at all with how some people took the movie in and engaged with it?
Not really from what little research I had done. The same thing happened when Truth came out. When they heard about this multi-series comic featuring a character that seemed to be claiming the mantle of Captain America in some nefarious way. There was backlash before it came out, and then after it came out, I guess among some in the quarter there was an understanding that okay, this is actually not trying to tear apart the legacy. It is telling another story. But I know Robert Morales said he was very shocked about that. I no, so no, I wasn't shocked by it. I think you can't be shocked by fear, and clearly there was something. Those people who were most shocked, I think, were most afraid of something. I don't particularly know what it is, but if it's some sense that things are changing. Things are always changing.
What would you say was the most surprising like the most surprising reaction you saw from fans?
I guess that it pierced through to a number of people that it was a political thriller. Um, I, I, I was intrigued by that because it was such there was a tremendous amount going on, but as you did boil it down, it was a political thriller. I mean, there was a little tiny bit of Manchurian Candidate and the brainwashing, and there was oh, what was that wonderful Day of the Condor? That feeling of things counting down and about to happen. And I found the conversation at the end between Captain America and Red Hulk. Yeah, I mean, it just seemed, it just seemed kind of like reasonable. Okay, okay, you're hot right now. There are a
Yeah.
number of elements at play for you. Let's just stop and think about it. And yes, you can crush me if you want to, but let's talk.
Yeah.
That's some social work right there for you.
Talking down a Hulk. Only the best can do it.
That's right.
Well,
That's
sir,
right.
thank you again for talking to me about the movie. I look forward to it being out. Everyone can watch it as many times as we want, and I hope that you get to come back sooner rather than later.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
appreciate that, Russ.